So one of the things I'm going to speak about tomorrow at the Nashville Mastermind Event is the concept of team and leverage, and ultimately how important it is to have your team optimized to be able to grow your business. So many people think that in business it's all about getting new patients, and if they just get more new patients, all of their problems are solved. I'm going to put it to you and anybody watching this video that as your business grows, ultimately the biggest problem you will run into is people and your ability to hire the right person, to train the right person, and ultimately to keep the right person performing at the standards, I'm going to call them, that you need to be able to achieve the financial success that you want in your life. I'll be reinforcing that tomorrow, just making sure everybody is aware of their role and their standards and what we're looking for. And then at 11 o'clock I've got a rapid action bootcamp meeting with Christine Walker, with Fleming, with Simon and with Lisa. I'll spend an hour with them just to make sure that they're on page with what we expect in that room. And then at 12 o'clock I've got Sophie and Simon, where we'll spend 2 hours just going through the room, make sure everything's right, all the workbooks are there and they're all set up. The hotel, their expectations are set, what I want from them and what I expect and what we've paid for, if you like, and when we signed the contract. And a big one, just simple things like sound checks, making sure that the audio quality is good enough at that time, the light, the stage. The guys who do the AV are on par with what we expect, and their timings and so on. So that'll happen till about 3 o'clock. What's the one thing that I would hope people take away from this weekend? The understanding of how important it is to get out of your business and be around like-minded business owners, undoubtedly. The reminding of things forgotten is super important. And that, plus the importance of being around people who have got the same challenges and the same problems as what the business owner has, is just so vitally important that people never lose sight of the fact that it's not just happening to them. And these challenges, struggles, whatever they're going through right now is exactly the same for all of us. And being part of a group or a community like this, it's safety in numbers. So that's what I hope people take from it.
The wall, and you have the laser light show and the smoke. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. See how I do
So one of the things I'm going to speak about tomorrow at the Nashville Mastermind Event is the concept of team and leverage, and ultimately how important it is to have your team optimized to be able to grow your business. So many people think that in business it's all about getting new patients, and if they just get more new patients, all of their problems are solved. I'm going to put it to you and anybody watching this video that as your business grows, ultimately the biggest problem you will run into is people and your ability to hire the right person, to train the right person, and ultimately to keep the right person performing at the standards, I'm going to call them, that you need to be able to achieve the financial success that you want in your life. So many people just accept the first job interview, the first guy or girl that comes along, and there's no thought goes into ultimately what was that person hired for anyway. Ultimately, anybody who's hired by any business is hired for one reason and one reason only. It's to solve a problem. And that problem will either be to get customers or to keep customers. So when you're thinking of your next hire, whether it's a front desk person, whether it's a PT, that's kind of where you have to start from. What's the problem that I've got in my business? What do I need this person to do that I'm about to hire? So what are the tasks? What do I need to be able to call this person successful? So they're going to have to be able to convert discovery visits and keep people on schedule. They're going to have to have a plan of care of 10 or 11 sessions. They're going to have to be able to get referrals from patients. These are the real tasks, the real skills, if you like, that we're going to need from a PT. It's not so much about the clinical care, because for most people that's pretty easy. And how would you know if somebody was being successful with clinical care? It's so subjective. But what we can do as business owners is say, hey, these are the 3 or 4, 5 skills that I need you to have, and these are the things that I'm going to judge you on to be able to call you successful. So my role as the business owner is to put that out in a success description that basically calls out to somebody who is willing to play that game with me, who wants to call themselves successful, if you like, in my role, and ultimately help my business to be more successful. My job then is to ensure that they have the onboarding process nailed down, so that if I'm asking them to do discovery visits and complete a plan of care and to get referrals, my job as the business owner is to at least arm them for battle and train them around discovery visits in week 1 and then completed plans of care in week 2 and so on and so forth. So that at the end of 90 days, I have a good idea of whether or not this person is capable of being successful in my business and ultimately helping my business to achieve the standards that we're, financially that we're looking for. From then, it's about coaching and optimizing, and ultimately what does the weekly conversation look like with the PT or with the front desk person to ensure that the standards that we set when we hired them, that we put in the success description and said, hey, this is what success looks like, are they currently being achieved? Team is ultimately the only leverage that you've got in business. It's your ultimate leverage. If you are trying to grow a business without any focus on team and creating a culture of empowerment, I'd put it to you, that's the reason that your business is stalled. You'll be constantly looking for more and more and more new patients, but if you don't figure out how to ultimately get the best from your team, how to coach them, how to train them, how to optimize them, how to keep them accountable. Real relay players want to be held accountable and love it, and your job as the business owner is to find those people. I assure you that they are there. It's nearly always that we're just not looking for them. And if I could give you one piece of advice when it comes to hiring, start the process with, what problem am I solving? What skills and what competencies do I need to solve that problem? And how will I know if somebody's done it? When you have that process in play in your business will soar. So yeah, welcome. What do you think of the stage?
Love it.
It's getting expensive, and this is where me and Sophie need to have a conversation about controlling expenses. So I hope she stays in the room today as we discuss these things. So here's what happened. I came in Thursday around about 5 o'clock, so I got in just before the storm, and Sophie was in the reception and she said, do you want to come and see the room? I said, no. Not really. She said, do you want to come and see the room? I said, no, I don't. I'm good. I'm happy to see it tomorrow or whenever. She said, do you want to see the room? I said, I don't want to see the room. So 5 minutes later, the conversation changed, and then she said, we'd love you to see the room. I said, do you really want me to see this room? She said, yeah. I said, why? She said, because I want you to see the stage, and I want you to see the lights, and I want you to see everything that we've done, all of the hats, and all of the backdrops and everything else. I said, why didn't you say that? You asked me if I wanted to see the room. I didn't want to see the room, but I am motivated to come and see all of the work that you've done. I said, after 18 months of working with a professional marketer, have I taught you nothing? I don't want physical therapy. You see where I'm going? Yep. I want what physical therapy does. I want the outcome. I didn't want to see this room. What on earth would I want to see a room for? But I did come and see the fruits of the labor and everything that we'd spoken about for however many weeks to try and make this room look pretty cool. So lessons to be learned everywhere in communication. And honestly, within 2 minutes, I said, let's go see the room. And I spent an hour in the room, excited, got me thinking about the weekend, early doors. These things are happening to you every day with your patients. that you're speaking to them in such a way that you are not motivating them to do things. If you believe me on anything, words are powerful. Words move people to spend money with you, to stay on sessions with you, to not drop off.
And across the course of the next 2 days, we're going to talk about the basic principles of hiring, recruitment, training, leadership. These things never change, they're just misunderstood.